Once upon a time, animation meant Saturday morning cartoons. Safe, silly, and sugary sweet. But anime doesn't play by those rules. It's not just darker, it's deeper, more brutally honest about the world. And us. So if you've ever wondered whether anime can actually shake you to your core, buckle up. We're diving into the twisted tales that rip the for kids label to shreds. These aren't just stories, they're psychological minefields. And once you're in, there's no unseeing what you've seen. If anime had a parental advisory sticker, Chainsaw Man would be plastered with warnings, not because it's mindlessly gory, but because it's emotionally violent. Denji, our protagonist, lives below rock bottom. He's in debt, starving, and barely surviving with the help of his only friend, a chainsaw demon named Pochita. Cute, right? Until he's betrayed, murdered, and reborn as a chainsaw-wielding devil hybrid. From that moment, everything escalates, and yet, beneath the chainsaw blades and demon guts lies something far more compelling. Raw human need. Denji's goals aren't noble. He wants food, comfort, touch, basic things he's never had. That selfish honesty makes him weirdly relatable in a world where everyone's faking heroism. Surrounding him are characters more damaged than he is. Makima manipulates with terrifying grace. Power, a bloodthirsty fiend, hides fear behind chaos. Aki's a walking tragedy dressed in a business suit. What makes Chainsaw Man special isn't just its graphic violence. It's how it uses that violence to peel back human emotion. Grief, lust, emptiness. And yes, there's humor too. Dark, absurd, and brutally timed. This anime doesn't want to inspire you. It wants to challenge what you think a protagonist should be, and ask what you'd do if survival was your only goal.
俺たちおもちゃ扱いしやがってよ。だんだんマジでムカついてきたぜ。
Serial Experiments Lain doesn't scream horror. It hums it, deep in your bones. And if you let it in, it rewires you. Lain is 14, quiet, invisible. Then an email arrives from a dead classmate. I'm not really dead, it says. That one message pulls her into the Wired, a digital network eerily similar to the internet, but darker. As Lain sinks deeper into this alternate world, the boundaries between her and the Wired begin to blur. Who is she? And more importantly, who isn't she anymore? The show is a slow spiral, almost meditative in its pacing. The animation is minimal, the dialogue cryptic, but every detail is deliberate, from the static-laced sound design to the uncomfortable camera angles. This is cyberpunk horror as philosophy. It deals with themes of identity, consciousness, technology's erosion of the self, and what happens when your mind no longer belongs to just you. It's not about jump scares. It's about existential anxiety. The fear that maybe the person watching this video isn't really you anymore. It isn't something you watch. It's something you experience. It gets under your skin. And when it's over, you'll find yourself questioning the nature of reality every time your screen flickers.
だから?
我々はそれを危険だと考えている。
If Studio Ghibli did psychological horror while on a hallucinogenic bender, you might get something like Mononoke, but even that comparison falls short. This anime is hypnotic, visually overwhelming, but narratively razor-sharp. It follows the medicine seller, a cryptic figure who hunts malevolent spirits. But he can't just slay them with his enchanted blade. First, he must uncover 3 truths: their form, their truth, and their reason. That quest is never simple. Each story arc is a miniature ghost story, wrapped in layers of psychological trauma and moral ambiguity, and each Mononoke is born from deeply human suffering. The show's aesthetic is stunning. Everything is hand-painted and intentionally surreal. Panels slide like traditional scrolls. Rooms shift like paper stages, and perspective warps to match emotional turmoil. It's a visual representation of madness. But don't let the beauty distract you. Mononoke deals with horrifying themes: infanticide, murder, betrayal, and spiritual rot. It's about the aftermath of trauma, and what festers when guilt is buried rather than healed. Each arc forces the viewer to confront the darkest corners of the human psyche. There's no comforting resolution, just a deeper understanding of the pain that fuels the supernatural.
申し訳ありません。どうやらそいつが強竹刀のようです。
Dorohedoro is full-on chaos. This anime is a blood-soaked fever dream bursting with grotesque violence, absurd comedy, and bizarre heart. It doesn't visit the dark side, it lives there, shredding logic and dancing in the debris. Set between the decaying whole and the elitist world of sorcerers, Dorohedoro explores a brutal class divide. Sorcerers invade the whole to run horrific magical experiments on humans, twisting them into monsters or worse. Enter Cayman, a man with a lizard head, no memory, and a man living inside his mouth. With his best friend Nikaido, he's hunting the sorcerer who cursed him. And if that sounds weird, it is. Delightfully so. 1 minute it's body horror and face-melting spells. The next it's a sorcerer obsessed with mushrooms or a cook-off in hell. Characters like Shin and Noi, violent, hilarious, oddly wholesome, blur the line between villain and ally. But beneath the chaos, there's a real story. One about identity, friendship, and loyalty in a world where morality's gone extinct. Dorohedoro is wild, yes, but also strangely touching. So if you're into stories that break the rules, the fourth wall, and maybe your sanity, Dorohedoro is your next obsession. Just don't watch it while eating. Ever. What if becoming a monster was your only way to survive? Tokyo Ghoul doesn't just explore that. It makes you feel it, one tear and drop of blood at a time. Kaneki is an introverted student turned half-ghoul after a freak surgery. He looks human, but now he hungers for flesh. And he hates it. His refusal to accept what he's become drives the show's emotional weight. He doesn't turn dark overnight. He breaks, shatters, and rebuilds into something terrifying and tragic. And the world around him, just as complicated. Ghouls aren't just killers. They're families, lovers, survivors. Humans, meanwhile, are often cold, cruel, and unrelenting. That blurred morality is where Tokyo Ghoul thrives. The horror isn't just gore, it's psychological. Torture scenes like the infamous centipede moment don't exist for shock. They're there to show how trauma births transformation. It's a story of identity, pain, and losing who you were just to survive. While later seasons stumble, that first arc is hauntingly good. With its gothic aesthetic, operatic score, and emotional swings, Tokyo Ghoul lingers long after it ends. Made in Abyss looks like a fantasy for kids. Adorable characters, lush animation, a whimsical score. But the deeper you go, the more you realize, this is a nightmare in disguise. The story follows Riko and Reg as they descend into the abyss, a massive pit filled with wonders, monsters, and unspeakable horrors. Their goal? To find Riko's mother. But every layer they descend comes with a price. One that mutilates body, mind, and spirit. The curse of the abyss punishes anyone who climbs back up. We're talking vomiting blood, hallucinations, madness. And they're just kids. The real terror, though, isn't the monsters. It's the humans, scientists who experiment on children. Smiling villains like Bondrewd, charming, polite, and absolutely chilling. He breaks kids with a grin, and he enjoys it. Yet, the show remains breathtaking. The contrast between innocence and horror is what makes it hit so hard. It doesn't just show pain, it weaponizes beauty to make that pain unforgettable. Made in Abyss is brutal, stunning, and emotionally devastating. If you're ready for a fall you won't recover from.
少々形がいびつになる程度で済んでいます。
This is it. Still breathing? What we've covered so far barely scratches the surface. There are more twisted characters, more emotional gut punches, and yes, more darkness waiting in the wings. So if you thought Made in Abyss broke you, or Dorohedoro was the peak of pain, just wait. Part 2 is coming soon, and it's only getting deeper from here. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss it, because the next batch, let's just say it might just haunt you.